What's up? What's up? What's up, y'all? It's your man, Stephen Bardo, coming back at you with the hottest show in college hoops that you're going to find anywhere. On television, online, in the barbershop, street corner, doesn't matter. It's the hottest spot right here. Glad you guys have joined me today. I hope everyone's doing well. My people on IG, if you want to see the graphics and some of the videos, jump over to Bardo's Breakdown on Facebook, because we've got a really good show. My man, Tony Gill, on the ones and twos, hooked it up once again. But I appreciate you all joining. Lurdell Parker, 23. Do you know Marcus Johnson? Yeah, I talked to Marcus Johnson a little bit. What's up, Andrew Moody? How you doing? Zoomer Sports. Good to see you guys, man. Got a lot to get to, so let me jump into it like we always do about this time. Make sure you send your questions in. Do all the things you need to do, but I'm going to get through this because we got a lot to talk about. If you want to be on the inside of the Bardo's Breakdown, you want to be part of the tribe, text me to 312-847-2739. That's 312-847-2739. Let's kick it off, y'all. One of the best college basketball games I've seen in a couple years. UCLA in overtime versus Villanova. I'm talking high. He was a grown-ass man for Villanova, 6'7". He went up against a huge front line of UCLA and held his own. Also, Justin Moore and Colin Gillespie was outstanding. Colin Gillespie, the All-American point guard, hit 4 threes, and they just ran out of steam down the stretch, and I think the front line of UCLA just overpowered Villanova, but that was a high-level game on both sides. Pauley Pavilion, the home arena for UCLA, has not been rocking like that in years. So it was great to see one of the old school blue bloods come back to prominence in college basketball and have that kind of showing in one of the first games of the season. It was outstanding for the Pac-12 conference. It was outstanding for Villanova in the Big East Conference, and especially outstanding for UCLA because they showed out and showed up big, big time. The next game I want to talk about really had a lot of hype. Number 1 ranked Gonzaga hosted Texas coming in. And Texas, ladies and gentlemen, they were transfer U. They've got some ballers, but Drew Timme clowned Texas. 37 points on 15 and 19 from the field. He also had added 7 rebounds, and the much-awaited debut of Chet Holmgren, the number 1 high school player in the country, coming in. He got in early foul trouble and really wasn't a factor. 2 points, 5 rebounds, and 23 minutes played. He's going to be a great one, but he just got in foul trouble against Texas. But Texas they're going to be there in the end. They have too much talent with the likes of Marcus Carr, who Big Ten fans will remember as the Minnesota Gopher, who transferred down to Texas. They got Timmy Smith, who was their leading scorer out of Utah. So Texas is going to be really good, but it's going to take a while for them to gel. And they're playing the number 1 team in the country on the road. So I didn't expect them to win. I thought they'd play a little bit better than that, but they've got to gel a little bit. But Gonzaga looked as good as advertised. So when you talk about UCLA and Gonzaga holding down the fort for the West Coast, that's a beautiful thing because last year the Pac-12 showed they're behind in the tournament. And yours truly will be staying up late night because I don't want to get caught off guard of not being as knowledgeable as I need to be come tournament time, because the Pac-12 did an outstanding job in the tournament. The West Coast showed up big time, and it looks as though with Gonzaga and UCLA, they're going to show up big time again this season. And so that was a couple of the national games I wanted to touch on quickly. I want to go to this clip. Let me set this clip up for you guys. Trayvion Williams, first team All Big Ten, honorable mention All-American, outstanding big for Purdue, has not started this season yet. And so there was questions abound, like what's going on with Trayvion Williams? Is something wrong with him? I had a couple pro scouts approach me. Jason Goff, what's good, brother? Good to see you on here. Thanks for jumping on. Mo Davis 09, good to see you. I had a couple NBA scouts ask me, have you heard anything about Trayvion Williams? And so one of the scouts reached out to me and asked me, he sent me this clip, and I want you guys to hear this clip from Trayvion Williams.
If you're worried about playing time and you're worried about starting, you're worried about the wrong thing. If Purdue wins, I think that's all that matters. I'm trying my best to, continuing to trust Coach Painter and hit the rotations, because in reality, he wants to play everybody, but everybody can't play. So with us, it's just who's productive in the moment, and I think Zach's been very productive in practice and in games as well, and he's been tough to stop. I think my role on the team is just kind of picking up that energy and kind of where he left off, and as a leader, as a senior, somebody who's been through it, you have to learn how to accept roles. Obviously, coach will switch it up throughout the year, but it's definitely a maturity thing for me. And all you can do is just be happy for your teammate.
Now, did you guys hear that? I hope you guys on IG heard that. Everyone else heard it. That was outstanding to me. That's high character right there. This is a guy who's a senior. He wants to play big minutes. He would probably prefer to start, but he's taking it all in. And he broke down. That was as good a clip as I think I've seen from a guy in his situation that had all this preseason accolades, but isn't starting for his team, one of the best teams in the country. But the way that he viewed it and the way that he's accepting his role, I think he's going to have a monster season. Because when you can put things in perspective at this point to start the season out, he knows that he's going to be in crunch time. He knows he's going to get the rock. He's going to get his opportunities, but he's not stressing. And to have the wherewithal to come to a press conference after a game and you keep getting these same questions about why aren't you starting, what's going on, for him to have that type of response, I thought was one of the more mature responses that I've seen from a college player in his situation. So big ups to Trayvion Williams from Purdue. Well done, big fella. Well done. Let me move on here. We want to talk about some of my early impressions from the Big Ten schools. I'm not jumping to all of them, just a few of them. All right. I was very impressed with Michigan. They really looked good in their first two games. Prairie View A&M was more for, for their allegiance with the HBCUs. But the Buffalo game, that was an outstanding game. Buffalo is picked to win the MAC, and Michigan was outstanding in this ball game. Caleb Houston, Musa Diabate are as good, if not better than advertised. Devontae Jones looked really good running the point, and Hunter Dickinson was his dominant self. So Michigan, I understand why preseason prognosticators had them picked to win the Big Ten, because their freshman talent, their overall talent is outstanding. They're long, they're big, and they're deep. They can play two people at each position easily if Juwan Howard, head coach at Michigan, really wants to. But they really look good. I was very impressed with Michigan. I was also really surprised that Minnesota is 3-0, ladies and gentlemen. I didn't expect much from Ben Johnson, this being his first season. He's got a lot of transfers. He got my man Peyton Willis, who started his career, a portion of his career in Minnesota, left and went to college at Charleston, now finds his way back home. Peyton Willis and Jamison Battle were outstanding in their double overtime victory against Princeton in this tournament in Asheville, North Carolina. You're looking at the box score from the first game against Western Kentucky. Western Kentucky is always a tough opponent, a very good, I don't like to say mid-major program, but a non-Power 6 program. They're always really good. and Minnesota came away with 2 quality wins in this tournament. Peyton Willis had 29 points. Jamison Battle had 24 in a double overtime victory for the Gophers over Princeton. So that was very, very impressive. What's also stuck out to me, the Maryland Terrapins, ladies and gentlemen, are 3-0. And they've played some quality opponents. They had a struggle against George Washington. This was the game that I was able to look at from tip to finish. And I guess his name is Cuttis. That's how you pronounce it, Cuttis Wahab. I'm going to call him Q or Buckets, like his teammates call him. Wahab was very impressive. 18 points in this particular game, I believe. He also had a double-double in this game. He was the leading scorer in the first 2 games. And then Eric Ayala and Fats Russell had 22 points apiece in their last victory over Vermont, which is historically a very strong program. So they got some pretty good wins in their early season for the Maryland Terrapins, with Fats Russell and Wahab coming in. Those are 2 main cogs, 2 starters coming in as impact transfers, but the transition has been seamless for both of those guys in Maryland. So I've been impressed with Maryland. And then Ohio State went down to the wire, had to get a last-second bucket from Zed Key. E.J. Liddell was outstanding in their victory over Akron. John Gross, you Big Ten fans may remember his stint at University of Illinois. He's back in the MAC at Akron, and his team really took Ohio State to the wire. But Zed Key got a last-second layup to win that game. E.J. Liddell fouled out of that, but he had 25 points. And then Ohio State bounces back against Niagara, has a 10-point victory. Tough Niagara Ball Club. E.J. Liddell had a career-high 29 points. They're still nursing Kyle Young back slowly. Cedric Russell's trying to get his sea legs under him, the transfer from Louisiana. But Malachi Branham is better than advertised. Freshman wing player has been really good, better than I thought he would be coming into this season as a freshman. So Ohio State had a close scare there, but they're looking pretty good. So let's transition to games to watch this week coming up. I was going to put Illinois Marquette up on the screen, but we don't want to get dinged or copywritten, violations. So I was going to put the screen up for you Big Ten fans, but Illinois Marquette is going on right now. They tipped off probably about 7 minutes ago. That ought to be an outstanding game, because Marquette, if Big Ten fans remember the name Daryl Morsell, the outstanding guard from Maryland, he transferred to Marquette. Daryl Morsell's career high was 19 points last year against Illinois. So he likes playing against the Fighting Illini. And he has had 2 games. His first 2 games for Marquette have been over the 20-point mark, which he never did at Maryland. So he's playing his best basketball of his career, I should say. So that ought to be a good one. Seton Hall at Michigan tomorrow. This is a step up in competition. No knock on Buffalo. They're the MAC favorites preseason. But Seton Hall is GAM, grown-ass men. That's my new acronym. GAM, grown-ass men. That's what Seton Hall is. Miles Cale is a senior. He's done it for years. Jared Roden is an upperclassman. These guys are grizzled. They're tough. And this is going to be a really good test for the Wolverines at home. Then the Wolverines turn around and go to the West Coast and play a good UNLV team. I'll be interested to see how they fare on the road. They played Prairie View A&M on the road over the weekend. Prairie View A&M, not the level of competition that they're going to see against UNLV. And then North Carolina at Purdue ought to be an outstanding test with that huge front line of North Carolina versus the huge front line of Purdue. Hubert Davis's club starting to find their way a little bit under his tutelage. And of course, Purdue, one of the more outstanding teams, not only in the Big Ten Conference, but in America. They'll get a stiff test at home versus the Tar Heels. So that ought to be a good one. Sharon Shorty Collins, what's good? Cam Lamb, CMMA Cope 7, Zach Brenneman, Erica. Hey, what's up, Erica? Good to see you. M. Montel. And let's see who else. I had somebody on here that I wanted to shout. Oh, Brian K. Hurd, good to see you. Nate MC Smith, thanks for jumping on. I think my man Glenn Blackwell, my brother from another mother, former Fighting Illini, is on here. Good to see you, brother. Thanks for joining in. Let's get to some of these questions. Think I'm going to steal your acronym, GAM. What's up, Carol Paul Paquette? Carol's part of the tribe. If you want to join the tribe, the inner workings, the inner group of Bardo's Breakdown, I give you behind the scenes content. I'll give you interviews with people that I'm not going to share on the bigger platform. I share it with Bardo's Breakdown group and the tribe. So if you want to be a member of the tribe, text me to 312-847-2739. I won't blow your phone up because I don't blow anybody up. They'll tell you, but it's kind of cool to be on the inside. Jeff Jarvis, what's good? Bo Singer, what's happening? Big ups to Purdue's Williams, very impressive. Bo, I agree. Because a lot of times, even if you're a senior in college basketball, you're still a young person. You're still under 22, 23 years old. But to have the maturity and have people hit you with the same question can get irritating, right? I'd like you guys to go to your job and have your colleagues or someone asking you every day the same question. It gets old, right? But he handled it very well. And you guys know me, I'm pro player. So I like to show players when they're in good light, when they're doing the right things, when they're showing their character, when they're being outstanding. I like to showcase that. We have to talk about when they mess up, right? We can't sugarcoat things, but I like to give players the love when it's necessary because that was a strong statement that you usually don't hear a lot of. I will be in and out, Stephen, while watching the game. I'm a little nervous. True road game without Kofi Cockburn. Carol Paul Paquette is referring to Illinois at Marquette. This is Illinois' first road game. Marquette plays a style. Shaka Smart is going to get after you. They're going to press. It's going to be a fast-paced game. This is the last game without Kofi Cockburn. This is the third game of his suspension. So after this, Kofi Cockburn will be back with the Illini. So this is a great test for the Illini. So, Carol, don't be nervous. Either way, this is great for the Illini, in my opinion, because this is a tough, stiff contest on the road from a quality Big East opponent. Let's see. Lawrence Martin, good to see you. Thanks for joining. Let's Toast Media. Okay, go Blue. Michigan in the house. You ought to be pretty happy, boy. You guys got a squad. You've had squads of the years previous. This might be the most versatile team under Juwan Howard, in my opinion. This is a team that is long, athletic, and fun to watch. Mr. J Travels was good. Good to see you on here. Let me see what else we got. Chris Cornelius, thanks for jumping on. I love you, bro. Thank you for the support. Appreciate you guys. Appreciate the tribe. Let me know if you guys have any questions. I'm going to share, we have this story time with Steven that I'd like to bring in. And let me set this up because this goes back a little bit. Let me see here. So story time with Steven. So go all the way back to me and Kendall's freshman year at Illinois. That 1986. That's a long time ago. And so we're on a road trip in Madison, Wisconsin. And a couple of our teammates that year were Ken Snake Norman, and Olaf Blob, Uwe Blob's younger brother. He was at Illinois I think he was there for 2 years before he transferred. I think he may have gone back home and played professionally in Germany. But Olaf Blob and Ken Snake Norman were roommates. And both of them were from the straight Looney Tunes. Crazy as hell. Both of them. I mean, both of them. They couldn't have come from more diverse backgrounds. Ken Snake Norman from the west side of Chicago, tough as nails. Olaf Blob from Germany. But both of them were silly. So they picked Kendall to mess with on this road trip. So luckily I wasn't rooming with Kendall, but Kendall starts it, and they throw snowballs outside because it's icy in Madison. It snowed, it was icy. And so Kendall threw some snowballs at Snake and Olaf fell and busted his behind. Everybody's rolling, right? We get back to the hotel and they throw a bucket of water under Kendall's door. And it's just his whole floor was just like had water on it. So Kendall's steaming, right? So he goes back and he puts ketchup on Ken and Olaf's door. And so after we have our meal as a team, we're going back to our door, and Kendall made sure he's talking stuff to Snake and Olaf so that they're looking at him. They're not really paying attention to what they're doing. And so they go to grab the door, and Olaf is like, oh, man, you got me. And so everybody's laughing. Later on that night, I cannot believe I'm sharing this. I'll try to make this clean. Later on that night, Kendall is getting chased back to his room by Ken Norman, and he grabs the doorknob, and there's feces on the doorknob. I don't know whose it was. I hope they went and got a dog or somebody. I don't know, but there was literally feces on the handle, and Kendall grabs the handle and smush, and everybody could kind of hear it. Oh man, we were done. Now we won the game on a last second shot. The next day, Ken Norman hit a last second shot in Madison to win the ball game. But believe it or not, these little sick jokes and things bring teams together, because you got to remember, guys, we were 18 years old. You're still little boys. You're not, they're not as we weren't nearly as mature as the guys today because of social media and everything. Man, my eyes acting up when I tell that story. got my eyes watering. But we were silly. We like to have fun, and Ken and Olaf were goofy. And so, but when Kendall went to grab that door, you heard like a squish. Oh my gosh. We laughed the rest of the night. We laughed the next day and shoot around. The coaches didn't quite know what was going on. Then we went in the game, like I said, and Ken Norman hit a last second shot, and we ran off the floor and able to win. But those silly type of things are the things that breed camaraderie, right? And breed, the feeling of being on a team because you've got something to go back and just fall out laughing from. So that's story time with Steven. Let me get some of your questions because I think I want to let you guys get out of here. Jeremy Massengale, good to see you. Let's see. Fiserv Forum must have new rims. Marquette, Illinois has a lot of missed shots. You know what it is, Joe? Thank you, man. Joe Stovall, tribe member. Carol Pope-Paquette, tribe member. Thank you, Joe. You know what I think it is, Joe? I think it's the style of play that Marquette plays is so frenetic. It's going to make guys speed up. So at the beginning of a game, when you're playing a Shaka Smart team, you're going to miss some shots early on, in my opinion. Badgers basketball, Wisconsin basketball, good to see you on here. Go Badgers. When you're playing a Marquette, a Shaka Smart coach team, they speed you up. And so I think, Joe, what you're seeing is that Illinois sped up. Marquette sped up a little bit. It's exciting. Fiserv Forum, I know, is rocking because Tony Smith, the radio analyst for Marquette, sent me a shot right before tip-off. And he showed the behind the backboard and how the students were in there. So it's lively. It's sped up, but both teams will settle down, I believe, as the game goes along. Joe Stovall, by the way, you would think he played college and professional basketball because he's always very knowledgeable about the questions and comments he puts on Bardo's Breakdown, and I can't thank him enough for his support of the show. Love you, brother. Thank you so much. Bo Singer's talking about Ken Norman. Snake played junior college basketball at Wabash Valley in Mount Carmel. He played at Wabash Valley before transferring to Illinois and had an outstanding career and went on to have a 10 or 11-year NBA career as well. So let's see. Who else can I get on here? Who you think, Tony? You think we could throw anybody else up that looks good here? Stacy Goodson, good to see you. Where is my man? Oh, Jeff Jarvis. Jeff Jarvis is live from Trace Hombres in downtown Carbondale. Tribe member, thank you, Jeff, for tuning in. I appreciate you. Andre Brown, what's going on? Oh, I got to shout out. Thank you, Andre Brown. I got to shout out Javon Freeman Liberty, Big East Player of the Year, DePaul guard, outstanding guard, is Marcus Liberty's nephew. So you know you're getting old when your teammates' nephews are conference players of the week. So shout out to Javon Freeman Liberty of DePaul. He's had some outstanding starts to the season. He's Big East Player of the Week. And so I'm really looking forward to covering DePaul here in the next couple of weeks. I've got American at Georgetown tomorrow. I've got St. John's at Indiana on Wednesday. And then I've got Milwaukee Bucks Friday and Saturday. And then I've got Indiana again on Sunday. So my season picks up really, really fast here. Let me see. Javon is killing it. Yes, he is, Shannon Williams. Shannon Williams Tribe, good to see you. So let's see. What do you think about St. John's on Wednesday? Jeff Georges, I hope I pronounced that right. Vanessa, good to see you, Vanessa. Thanks for joining. Appreciate your support. Jeff, I think St. John's is going to be pretty good. Champagne is one of the best players in the Big East. They also have Aaron Wheeler, who is a Purdue transfer, a 6'9" guy that gives them a lot of flexibility on the defensive end. It's going to be interesting because St. John's, like Marquette, loves to pressure. They want to change defenses. They want to keep you off balance. Mike Anderson does a fantastic job with St. John's and the Red Storm. So how Indiana handles the pressure, Xavier Johnson at the point guard position, Patrick Stewart, Miller Kopp, the backcourt of Indiana. It'll be very interesting to see how they can handle the pressure of St. John's, because I believe if you can get past the first level of pressure against teams like St. John's, you can shoot layups on them. You can get 3-on-2, 2-on-1s all game long, but you got to secure the rock. You're going to have turnovers, like Illinois is going to have turnovers tonight. You play that style, it's not something that you're used to playing against. So you're going to get turnovers. It's part of the game, but you can't let one turnover turn over 3 or 4 and you get hit with a 10-0 run. So as long as Illinois tonight and Indiana on Wednesday night can really handle the basketball against that heat, that first line pressure, I think that they can do pretty well. Okay, Carol's giving me good play-by-play here. Trent Frazier has scored 9 in a row. He is smooth as silk. Thank you, Carol, for that. Chuck Ramey, yes, Chuck. Shaka Smart is Marquette's head coach. I probably should have said that. I apologize. MCISKEO3, thanks for joining. Colby K headquarters, thanks for jumping on. Appreciate you guys. Shaka Smart is the head coach at Marquette. First year coming in, you know the style of play that he has. So it's going to be interesting to see. Let's see. I think that might do it. That might do it because I'm going to spring you guys early because I got to check out this Illinois Marquette game. But thank you so much for joining. I always appreciate your support. People on IG, if you want to get the graphics and things that we see, we ran the video of Trayvion Williams. Tony Gill does an excellent job on the 1s and 2s as the executive producer of Bardo's Breakdown. So I'll come to you on IG, but if you want all the bells and whistles, join me on Bardo's Breakdown. All right? You guys have a great rest of your week. Check back into Bardo's Breakdown. I'll be giving updates throughout the week on what's happening in college basketball for the Tribe and Bardo's Breakdown group. I'm going to give you some behind-the-scenes stuff at the studios because we're still calling games from the Big Ten Network studios, and it's a behind-the-scenes look at Fiserv Forum when we have the Bucks games over the weekend. So have a great rest of your night. Big Ten fans, tune in to FS1. Check out Marquette in Illinois. And until next week, I'll see you guys later. Peace, y'all.